success is really just 5% strategy and it's 95% mindset. Now, I've been in this business all my adult life, and I never thought of it like that. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized Catherine's nailed this. She is right. Now, she's a very, very successful individual, and she has obviously thought all these things through. And as I get thinking about it, I thought this what accounts for people that go all through school and many, many degrees, and yet just don't seem to be able to make it work. They're struggling with income. They never take a decent holiday. And it's not because they're not smart. They're absolutely brilliant. And yet they struggle. And then it also accounts for a person that really hasn't got a whole lot going for them and shoots off and wins, like myself. I had 2 months high school. I had never had a half-decent job in my life. I had a bad attitude and a bad work record. And Ray Stanford gave me this book, Think and Grow Rich. And he said, Bob, he said, you're blaming your situation in life on the fact you didn't go to school and you've never had a good job. He said, if you'll quit thinking in reverse, quit looking backwards and letting the past dictate the future, if you will follow direction, you can have anything you want. And I thought about it and I thought, wait a minute. He said, if you can follow direction. If you can't follow direction, he said, probably things are not going to change too much. He said, this man's giving you direction. He said, I'll give you direction. And he said, you can have anything you want. Now, I really didn't believe that. But you know something? I believed he believed it. And I thought, I think maybe the guy's right. I'm going to give it a whirl. Well, you know, in nothing flat, within the year, my income had skyrocketed. It went from $4,000 a year to $14,500 a month. Now, if you annualize that, that's $175,000 a year. I hadn't made $175,000 that year, but I was up to $14,500 a month, so I was going to earn that in a year. I have never looked back, but I've never stopped studying either. I have quite a beautiful library here in the studio. This is the Proctor Gallagher Institute studio. And I also have a beautiful library in my home. I put reading right at the top of priorities. I was in here at about 4:15 this morning studying. And that is very common. That's the first thing I do in the morning is study. Now, I am going to share something with you. We call it Mindset 2020. And if you will follow direction and do as we're suggesting, you're going to have a beautiful year next year. Now, if you haven't downloaded the book, this is the book. I put mine in a ring binder. Go to imindset.com and download this exercise book, this planner, It's got great information in it, and it's got the potential of changing your life. Now, let's get up here and go to work at this for a few minutes. You'll see there's 3 essential questions that we want to recommend you ask yourself. And it's very important that you ask these questions because I think it'll put you on the track that you want to get on. The first one is, what has my life been like up to this point? Now, I think it's important you look at that. Now, you'd be inclined to say, well, it's been pretty good. Has it really? Has it really been pretty good? Think of this for a moment. You are God's highest form of creation. There is no one alive, all the brilliant people in the world, there is no one, not one, that can even guess at what you're capable of. No one knows what we're capable of. We have deep reservoirs of talent and ability within us, just waiting to be brought to the surface. So let's review our life up to this point. When Ray Stanford got me to look at mine, I was not very happy with it. Now think about it. Really think about this. What has my life been like up to this point? Now the second one is, What would I truly love my life to be like? Now, as we get to the end of this exercise, I've been guessing, I think probably it'll take us a good part of an hour, but I don't know how long, because I'm not going to stop and have you go through all the exercises. I'm going to suggest that between now and the end of the year, this is only the 13th, that you go through these exercises and you really think and you give them serious attention, because it's your life that you're talking about. What would I truly love my life to be like? I'm going to tell you, I honestly feel like I live a charmed life. I have wonderful friends all over the world, and we're always coming up with great new ideas, and things just keep getting better. I put my friends at the top of the list of things that I'm grateful for, because they changed my life. Now, the third part is very, very important. The third question: am I open, honest, and committed enough to make whatever changes Mindset 2020 requires? See, there's some real important questions in here. Now, if you'll flip over onto page 4, and take a look here. We have, you may know people. We're suggesting you start moving. You can take those questions down now if you want, Scott. And we point out here that start to move in the right direction. Now, we win here. You may know people who are continually struggling to improve. The salespeople whose sales are low and who's always struggling to raise their sales. Or the student in school whose marks are always a C or even lower, and they're pushing and they're studying and they're really trying hard. Why can't these people improve? Now, I've given this a lot of thought, and of course I've lived in it for a long time. Well, let's analyze this situation and discover the common error. These people are trying desperately to change their end result. Now think of that. You see, Ray asked me when I first started, was I happy with my results? Well, of course I wasn't happy. And he put 3 H's down. He said, that's happiness, health, and wealth. And he proceeded to tell me that he thought I was one of the most miserable people he had ever met. He said, you're always sick. And he said, you're always broke. Well, this is what I was doing. I was forever trying to change the results. The results in our lives are determined by our actions. Now keep thinking of this. The actions are continually being motivated by the mindset. These people have not come to understand that their results are a direct reflection of the subconscious mindset. They're clutched by an unseen enemy because there's no understanding of their mindset, which is the actual cause of their results. Now, there's one common error. They are identifying with their present results because it's in harmony with the mindset. They look outside and they see it. And it's a reflection of what's going on inside. You know, many years ago, I was given a book. And it was quite an incredible book. The Mystic Path to Cosmic Power. I was talking to a good friend, Robert Piscuzzi, and I think he was telling me he was reading that book. A woman gave me the book many, many years ago when I was in the late 60s. I was working at Mangel Conant. The Mystic Path to Cosmic Power. I think it's probably one of the best books that I ever read